It is Saturday, 2:14 in the afternoon in this part of the world, and it is across the world, 2:14 at night. And that is a a sticky little wicket when you're a broadcaster. But we have, on the weekends at least, during the week can work too, this wonderful period of time where we are connected to the UK with um, there being in the mid afternoon an opportunity to present a program to the primetime audience there in Great Britain. So I am very, very excited, as you can tell. I'm like really slow and tired here. Um, to say that I am looking for, yo, what's up, sunshine? I'm looking for somebody to co-host the UK edition of the big interview. So I think we'll probably just do it one day a week in the beginning. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Do it one day a week, and then maybe we can grow into it. I mean, it would, I think it would be somewhere around 2 p.m. my time. So that is kind of in the middle of my real work day. So I don't know how often we can actually do it, but I think we could do it on a Friday or a Saturday. Maybe Saturday would be good. But I definitely want to bring Haps to the UK, and really, really up this platform for people in the UK. I think it would be absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we have Swift Beats, we have Bobby Bicker, we have all kinds of folks. We have all kinds of folks that yeah, we can bring to the platform. So that would be a lot of fun. Question, not for you, Bob, but let's see. There we go. All right. Let's see. Gonna make a little note. Wait, what happened? Okay. Um, yeah. So I have no idea. Is there anybody in the UK even watching this? You know what? I'll start tweeting people in the UK, and after I send this little message. All right. Let's see. That takes care of that. Over to Twitter. Well, hello. What is going on? From Nurse Sultan. You know what? That I need to be able to have those letters a little bigger, or I'm going to need some new glasses. You know, it's a challenge. Miriam. Well, no idea how to say your name, sir. I would guess you would have to help me pronounce it. Tell me, what are you doing in that part of the world in Kazakhstan? What's going on there? Hey, Google, what time is it in Kazakhstan? Okay. Hey, Nur Sultan. Since I don't know how to say your name, sir, I'm going to call you MD. MD, you know any really great potential hosts for the program we're doing in Great Britain? Drop that microphone down a little. There we go. And I want this to stay open. So let's see. Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? What's up, Harry? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Where is the where it's energy saver. There we go. That's where it'll be. Not too much. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Where 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 could it be? Energy saver. Come on. Would you move it to? Where did you move it to, Macintosh? Come on, Mac. Come on, Apple. Help me, help me, help me. Here we go. It's a light bulb. That makes sense. Oh, I tell you something. All right, we got power adapter, display sleep, computer sleep. Let's see, we're usually in a broadcast about that long. There was just some things that were happening that were not acceptable, and the only way I could put a stop to it was to pull the plug. So that's what I did. David Allen, hello from Clearwater, Florida. David Allen comes from Florida, FLA. Retired tax rat. Ooh, I could use a guy like that. Let's see. Iman in Clearwater. Nice to meet you. Nice looking guy. Look at that. Sharply dressed man. Uh, 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 Black tie. New shoe. Okay, you know what? I don't like ZZ Top because I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I suspect they've got some. We would disagree on a lot of things. All right. So I was afraid we were going to have to do this. We are going to have to try to generate some buzz. Oh, Lord. Okay. Well, you just be careful. Yeah, I'm now manually searching. I didn't think anybody come, but I'm now looking. Hey, Pablo. Good to see you, man. I actually had an incident the other day, and I thought maybe this was going to replicate itself in here. It didn't, but yeah, if you saw my question, like, it looks like all I can do is like mute, and I have to mute every comment. And so, yeah, love to know how to take care of that. Luke McSee coming in hot from Los Angeles. Luke McSee. All right, so here's the deal. Wow, just a bunch of middle-aged white guys showing up. Surprise, surprise. Look at me. Well, you're not middle-aged, Luke, and you're in Ontario, but you're coming from LA. So, all right. Hello from Brussels. Oh, Dr. Hooper. Dr. Hooper. Everybody needs to follow Dr. Hooper. Oh, okay. That was weird because I swear I saw comments keep coming the other day, but all right. Could have been easily confused with another platform, my friend. I really appreciate that, Pablo. Very much. I'm old in Canada, in Canadian years. Oh, yeah. Hello. Wait. Oh, from Barcelona. Whoa. Where'd you go, Angela? How'd that happen? You're in Barcelona? I didn't know you were in Barcelona. I would love to be in Barcelona. That would be so fun. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Thanks, man. It was a crisis, like emergency situation. Like there was bad stuff happening and I couldn't get him to stop. So, that'd be fun. I know we need to do like a world tour of HAPS, broadcasters once we can. And definitely we want to go to Barcelona and we want to go all over, right? I think that'd be fantastic. And that way we can meet you and we can meet Deanna and, maybe we can bring some. This is just me talking. I'm not representing HAPS, but maybe we can bring people, from over there, over here. Oh, yes. And I love the way people from Spain say Barcelona. It's so it's a great word when it's said by someone that knows how to say it. Yeah, well, a DC Hooper, you're not in Brussels. Remember, Deanna is a super shero. She can be wherever she wants to be with just a blink of an eye. Okay, she's a theoretical physicist. Like she can control time, man. Like, how do you know she's not standing right behind you right this second? um, but if that were the case, I'd say, hey, come over here, come hang out with my family for dinner because surely you've gotten the vaccine by now. I don't think I can control time yet. I like it yet. That is good. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Um, Anybody's welcome to come up. Just say hi. I'm literally here. Going to be texting people or tweeting people. I'm looking for a co-host for the UK edition of the big interview. And yes, I am. I am excited. So if anybody knows a a fun, intelligent, quirky woman, preferably of color, who is a citizen of somewhere in that United Kingdom with, I mean, she's got to have a British accent. I mean, it just is what it is. That would make a great co-host with me, like one day a week. Please send them my way, and that is what I'm doing. I am just doing my normal. So picky. Well, yeah. Come on, man. Um, my normal outreach to people. I got a lot of people to look through, but I wasn't looking for Brits last time I was on Clubhouse. So I'm gonna have to find all the British Clubhouse places. Oh, ooh, man, I need some caffeine. I'm some of those and available sometimes, so you can volunteer. Well, we could talk. The I'm just trying to figure out how often to go. Like, do I just go into the UK slowly, or do I dive right in? But I think we need a lot more representation in Europe and the UK, and I can do a show at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we can be on at like 8 o'clock at night, and yeah, oh yeah, both, yes. Oh, this is exciting too. Yes, I can't wait for tomorrow's broadcast. We well, we do change our clocks. I'm guessing since you're asking me that it is tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We change ours in 2 weeks. Makes time zones fun for the next 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. Yeah, what is that about? That's weird. Do you really want me? Do you really want to make me cry? Do you really want to hurt me? Let's see. I guess we should get this out on Twitter. I've got some new fun guests coming up on upcoming episodes of The Big Interview. Some musicians and a journalist. Very, very cool journalist. Yeah, right? Not too bad. I mean, for like a, I can't really sing that song in the right range. So tomorrow, my broadcast is 12:30, 11:30. Oh, it's 11:30. Hold on a second. Hey, Google, remind me at 11:25 a.m. that Dr. Hooper is on. There we go. I'll remind you tomorrow at 11:25 a.m. Thank you, Google. that Dr. Hooper is on, I urge. Thank you, Google. That's enough. Hey, Google, stop. There we go. She listens. She lingers afterwards. She's programmed that way now. Hey, Google, stop. Sometimes she doesn't get the message. Uh, Hello from Portland. Hello, Dean. So, yeah, some fun people. Some fun. You know what? I'm getting too comfortable moving my mic away from that. Mouth away from the mic. I guess I need to put the microphone in front of my face when I'm not paying as good of attention as I should. And okay, let's jump onto Twitter. Have a this could be a good idea. Spring forward, yes. Oh wait, I'll do a broadcast tomorrow and announce it before Dr. Hooper has given me some training. I didn't realize that was you saying you were going to do an announcement before that we were going to do a broadcast. Wait, so what time's your broadcast going to be in Chicago? Because I want to support you too. You're going to do it right after Deanna? Oh, nice. Hooper tag team. Team Hooper. What do you think? I'm wondering where I'm going to find somebody for this. Hooper's taking over Haps. Ooh, soon it's going to be Hoops. Welcome to Hoops. Oh, every day. Oh, wow. Okay. It is a Hooper takeover. Oh, this is interesting. Might be able to get a lead this way. Sorry. This is a working meeting, so I'm not here to entertain. Though, if anybody wants to come up and talk to me, that is totally fine. I would love to have you up here. Heading off to the sofa to see you all tomorrow for some career advice and tips and some random cats. That's going to be so fun, so very fun. So you will be on about well, I don't. Deanna, are you on for an hour or an hour and a half? But I'm going to watch one show and then watch the other. So how could I miss? Hmm. Mercy. Didn't get as enough rest as I wanted to get. Um, Bring coffee. You know it. You're on for an hour. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, I gotta tweet your stuff out too. Let me do that while I'm thinking about it. Just an old-fashioned love song. Another 20 minutes till coffee time. I mean, isn't it always coffee time, Luke? Like always? By the way, if you're watching this on replay or you're watching it live, and especially if you watch us live a lot and you don't, oh, do you have a problem with caffeine, Luke? And you don't let us know, that you watch. That's fine. If you like to watch, I have no problem with it. But I would like to specifically talk to you and say, hey, did you know you can sponsor this program? And holy cow, look at this. Let me go there. I'm going to go right there. I'm going there. All right. I'm going to, oh, wow. I don't know how to use this new mouse. How do I right click on a magic mouse? Well, okay. There, okay. How do you right click on? Oh, it's got to be two fingers, right? Uh-oh. Wait. Yeah, it's two fingers on the MacBook. What is it on the Magic Mouse? That is weird. Okay, I gotta look that up. Hold on. Oh, secondary click. Click on the right side. Well, how else would you do it? Doesn't make sense. Okay, now we're doing it. Now we're doing it. That's fine. There we go. Duplicate. And then I want to talk about, go over to my profile here. Now I'm going to scroll down. And if you go to my profile, you will see Revmac Live weekly schedule. So we have a weekly schedule up there now. I suppose we'll get it up on the website when I get around to the website, which doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. And I needed to get it done, 2 days ago. So, oh, okay, that doesn't work. Sorry, I like to talk to myself. Okay, all right. So Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, The Big Interview, our flagship program that features Revolution McInnes interviewing the best minds you'll ever find anywhere. Okay, so let's tweet this out. Let's share it. Oh, what's this about a quirky, edgy, sweet woman of color? Is this a personal ad at the top of the comments? I am looking for such a woman to be my co-host for the British edition or the UK edition of The Big Interview that we're going to do once a week. That will be focused on, work and project for sure. I mean, I just don't have enough time. That'll be focused on, hey, Sid Snow from Bangor, Maine, Bangor, Maine. I don't know which way you say it. Bangers and mash. There's so many possibilities. Good to see you, Sid. As always, Sid is somebody you should follow because, like, Sid is just amazingly cool and incredibly smart. Knows a lot about a lot. Bangor. Thank you, Bangor. He's a great guy, and I admire you, Sid. Of course, Luke. Of course. Okay, great. Yeah, so we got our schedule up there, which is good. Not used a mouse in so long. I'm kind of having problems. Let's see. All right. You know what I need? Oh, that's a good idea. I wonder what the comment lag is. Could I have two broadcast studios open? I just need that. I just need that. I need Pablo, if you're listening, I need the Would be great if I could just pull the chats out. Huh. Anyway, I'm just thinking. That's awful slow, the scroll wheel, too. Huh. Wonder how I can speed that up. Huh. I wonder if there's some more. Hey, Kizzy. What's going on, Kizzy? Great to see you. I shouldn't. How can I get across this real estate? Still way too much mouse movement. Man. All right. I just have to get used to it. Move this over here. What's going on, Kizzy? How's the. I see you have a program scheduled, right? Was it for today or tomorrow? Did I miss it? I'm bummed if I missed it, but I was probably taking a nap. Ooh, this mouse is pretty loud too. I bet you're hearing me click it. That could be a problem. Well, you got to be hearing that, right? Maybe the noise gate's blocking it. Would make sense to not click while I'm talking though, because it would pick it up. It was for this morning, but I had video issues. So I rescheduled for tomorrow. I can't hear your mouse click. Awesome. You got the video issues solved though? Yeah, so that's I'm getting lucky there. The noise gate's canceling that out. All right, so I am Lindsay Badges and I are going to, since I've got some broadcasters here, we're doing a series on, well, it started out being a series on a little frustration I had with you know, some of us that, well, no, let's not even say that. Let's spin it around here for a second. Um, but what we're calling it down is breaking down broadcasting. So we're going to do some tips, you know, on how to be a better broadcaster, and we want, obviously we want all of your input as well, right? So it's going to be a show. I don't know. We're going to be on for like an hour on Fridays. What did I schedule that for? Noon Eastern, I think. And Badges is just full of knowledge, so that'll be fun. And then I want to maybe do some 45-second or maybe 2-minute little inserts that people could use that would encourage people to join HAPS and maybe give a HAPS tip. So I thought it might be fun if we have the people of HAPS. We can either, yeah, I don't want to produce them, to be honest with you, but I'll probably have to. But you could all do a little clip yourself with a tip, and then we'll have some graphics. I mean, you could just probably send me the raw video or whatever, and make it certain amount of time and talk about HAPs and stuff like that, and then we could start sharing these out around each other's broadcasts, and hopefully bring some more people to the platform. So yeah, it's just one of many things I want to do. But if that sounds interesting to any of you, please, let me know. And if you want to help on the production side, oh yes, please let me know. Definitely let me know. I am pained for a drink other than water at the moment, so I wish Hey, Sid, are you still there? Are there any like you're in? Oh, awesome, Kizzy. Are there any prepackaged graphics and stuff for OBS? Like, so I don't have to make a be right back thing. But anyway, Kizzy, you're in. Okay. This is good. This is good. Let's see. I need another running list. So for now, it's just going to be a piece of paper. I will be back in un momento with some orange liquid. The boss is out. Time to take over the channel. Well, I think I invited you, didn't I? Let's see. You could have come up and stole the show. Yes, you could have. I believe you could have. Oh, let's see if anybody's gotten back to me on this. I think, you know, um, oh, yeah, come on up. Awesome. Looks like we're going to have another guest up here, too. So this will be really fun because we will be worldwide. Dr. Hooper needs a theme song, everybody. Okay? Just saying. If there are any musicians, writers, music writers, you know, there she is. What's up, Doc?
Hello, thank you for inviting me on your channel again.
Oh yeah, anytime. And we're both wearing black. We got black headphones. We got glasses. We're just rocking it to this morning.
I mean, I'm like always wearing black, so that's a very valid statement always.
Yes, yes. I'm quite. I do wear other color shirts and stuff. You know, people urge me to do something different, but generally, I'm most comfortable in black attire. You know, that's just me.
Black is good. Black goes with everything, including other black tones.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. So, what is it there? Like 10?
It is nearly 10, yes, nearly
Yeah,
10 p.m.
I'm getting pretty good at remembering these different time zones.
Yeah, tomorrow
Like,
gets messed up again.
yeah. Oh gosh.
Tomorrow you need to change it by 1 hour.
Yeah, I'll probably just not do anything and just look it up every time or something. Robert Van, is that Buren? Hello, Robert Van Buren.
Hi, Robert.
Oh, all right. Hold on a second. Yeah. So, what are you doing tomorrow? What's your show going to be about?
Tomorrow I have a guest joining me. I actually have somebody who joined often when I was at my old institute in the Periscope days. When I left my institute, he continued to broadcast without me until Corona hit, and then those broadcasts died down. But yeah, former colleague of mine, PhD student, particle physicist. He'll be
Practical physicist.
Particle physicist.
Oh, particle. Okay.
Particle. So we both study dark matter, but from very different approaches.
Really?
So tomorrow we're going to discuss what's different about what we do and what's the same, and how
Oh,
we both
cool.
can work together to find dark matter.
So, all right. Dark matter, we absolutely have no idea what it might be composed of, or kind of an idea. Where do
So
we stand with dark matter?
that also depends who you ask, and that's something that we will discuss tomorrow. From the cosmology perspective, we kind of think of dark matter as just like it's something in the universe. We don't really
Something.
necessarily need to know what it is. We know
Mhm.
how it behaves, and we just think of it as kind of just like a gas in the universe, or maybe a group of particles.
Right.
Tomorrow, one of the things we're going to discuss is that from the particle physics perspective, you're much more interested in what makes up dark matter. Is it made up of similar particles that behave in the same way our normal particles do, or is it something completely different? So this is something we're going to discuss tomorrow as to what dark matter means from these different perspectives, and how they're actually two sides of the same coin that really work together to find dark matter from different perspectives.
So there is also, wait, there's dark matter and there's dark energy, right?
Dark energy, yes, exactly. Different
Okay.
thing.
And there's totally different, right?
Yep.
They're just both have the word dark in them.
Yeah, we're very bad at naming things, and we can't see dark matter, so we call it dark matter. And we can't see dark energy, so we call it dark energy.
Yeah, like could have called it what's it matter, because then you could figure out,
Yeah,
what's it matter?
it would actually be it would actually be better if we'd called it invisible matter, because that's a more true testament of its behavior.
Gosh, but then at least with dark matter, I can conceptualize maybe some possible mass, like with invisible matter, like okay, right? But it makes sense, but I like so.
But if you hold up a glass,
Mhm.
very clear glass, it is kind of invisible, right? You can see right through it.
You can see through it,
So
right?
it's just because light can travel freely through it, but we still know
Right.
it's there because you can still see kind of, if you turn it slightly, you might get a reflection, you might get some type
Mhm.
of light. So for dark matter, you have to imagine something that is actually there, it has mass. But however you turn it, whatever you do with it, the light just passes right through it. So you will never get a reflection or something like that. So it's just like this really invisible thing.
So like 60 billion neutrinos passing through my thumb in this moment
Every second, yes.
every second.
Hey,
Is
Abyss.
there, hey, Abyss? Oh, great to see you. Is there dark matter with me here?
Yes.
There is.
So this
Ooh.
very much depends on some things we think about dark matter,
Uh-huh.
but dark matter is everywhere in the universe. Then there's places
Everywhere.
everywhere. Then there's places where there's more of it, where there's more gravity, there's more dark matter. So at
So
the
gravity
center,
affects dark matter?
other way around, dark matter increases the gravitational field. So if there's a
Wait.
strong gravitational presence, there's a lot of dark matter.
Okay.
Or not,
So
there
wait a minute.
might be more dark matter.
So wow. Okay. Holy cow. Okay. This is so fun. Like seriously, like I should have to pay you to be able to have this conversation. Like I'm getting an education. All right. So wait a minute. So dark matter, if it's if it's okay, so like a muon and a boson, the quarks, right?
That's normal
Um,
matter.
that's normal matter.
Yes.
Wow. Normal matter. That's interesting way to put it. So dark matter is not normal matter.
No. Normal matter is everything you can see. We call it normal matter because it's the one we're accustomed to.
Uh-huh.
But it's actually, there's much more dark matter than normal matter. So actually, the
Right.
normal
Right.
one
That's
is
what I
the dark
thought.
matter.
So the universe is mostly invisible.
Yes.
What could it possibly be?
Well, if you figure that out, do let me know.
If I figure that out, I might be getting my PhD at the same time I'm getting my my big prize. So.
Yeah, so the thing is, we know that dark matter can affect the gravitational field because it has mass. And this is how we actually look for dark matter. We look for places where there's a lot of mass. So
Uh-huh.
that we can, if there's a lot of mass, you're going to bend space-time. And if
Right.
you bend space-time, objects moving through space-time will move differently because they feel this bent path
Yeah. They
on
kind of, yeah.
space-time. So then if we see something moving in a strange way, we don't see anything there causing this, then we would say, okay, there's some matter there that we cannot see. So it's invisible matter,
But
it's
how
dark
can
matter.
matter be invisible?
It doesn't interact with light. So in order to see something, you need these
Uh-huh.
particles of light to interact.
Okay, but wait, how can it not interact with light and be matter?
Not all matter has to interact with light. Neutrinos don't interact
Oh,
with
okay.
light.
Like if
So,
neutrinos interacted with light, I would see like them rushing through my thumb maybe and it would be weird
I
or
mean, they would definitely behave very differently.
okay. So the
But
light itself could affect their course or that kind of stuff, huh?
yeah, so the light wouldn't affect its course, but if it can interact with light, then it means it's kind of exchanging energy with something.
Mm-hmm.
So then they would change the way they're moving in the universe. It would be slightly slowed down.
Hey, there you go, Abyss or baryonic matter.
Baryonic matter, that is also what
Yep.
we call normal matter. Yes.
And just so we're clear, we got rid of the ether a long time ago, but
Yes.
it's like we brought it back with dark matter, you know?
Yeah, so in a sense, dark matter is kind of the fudge factor we add to explain everything we can't explain.
Uh-huh.
So it is kind of like just this thing. But the problem is there was no real evidence for the ether. But for
Right.
dark matter, we fully accept that it's kind of a fudge factor. But it's also the only way we've been able to explain a lot of different things we see in the universe. And we might be completely wrong. There might be no dark matter, but currently it's
Mm-hmm.
the best explanation we have for a lot
Wait
of
a minute.
different phenomena.
Right. And I know how science works, right? I mean, quite likely that a lot of the stuff we're thinking of now in 1,000 centuries will be like, oh, that was so cute.
Yeah, it's
What
like,
they were
oh, okay,
thinking,
yeah, that was funny.
Right. But so if what is it, 95%? What percentage of the universe is not regular or baryonic matter?
95%.
95% of the universe is not baryonic.
25% is dark matter, 70% is dark energy.
Oh,
Means
God.
everything that we think we understand, like the stars, our planets, galaxies, this is less than 5%.
And it's a huge amount to us.
Yeah.
It's probably almost unimaginable how much there is. I mean, for regular people, I mean, for baryonic people, it would be. Okay, so sorry.
I didn't mean to come in and derail your show with
No,
physics.
you didn't derail anything because all I was doing was going to come in here, try to find somebody from the UK that could host my show, knowing nobody was going to come in, and do that. So, yeah, I was just hanging out, but I was hoping somebody might see the title and come in. And I'm sorry if you would rather talk about something else because I'm picking your brain about dark matter. So,
I mean, it's my favorite subject. That's why I study
okay.
dark
Oh,
matter.
good.
Well, one of
good.
my favorite subjects.
You can never. What are some of your other favorite subjects?
Gravitational waves is a really fun topic.
Okay, not football or cooking. Gravitational waves.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
hold on.
I was thinking in terms of
Science.
In science, in like my field in cosmology. But yeah, if I move it outside of science, I love puzzles. I really love doing puzzles.
Cool.
Not just jigsaw puzzles, but actually like brain teasers or even those annoying puzzles that you have to take apart and put back together.
Right.
So puzzles is something I actually do to relax. And I do love cooking.
Oh, nice.
And I love baking, but probably a bit too much because in non-pandemic times, I would bake stuff and bring it to the office to share.
Right.
And now I'm baking stuff.
Oh, and you like
eating
cars?
Everything. I wouldn't really say. I think that's supposed to be cats and cats.
What is it?
Yeah,
cats.
Yeah.
Oh,
cats is definitely cats. That makes a lot more sense.
How many cats do you have, Doctor?
Unfortunately, none. Because postdoc life is not really agreeable to having pets. I
Right.
might revisit that when I'm in Helsinki next year. But I bring down the family average. My brother has 5 rescue cats. My mother has 6 rescued cats, and I have none. So I'm
Ah,
really bringing down the family average there.
well, right, but a professorship and then some cats would be perfect,
Exactly.
right? So if
What
anybody is
professorship,
out
tenure
there,
track position, and then get a
mhm.
herd of cats.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works in the elite fields of science, but if there are any agents or heads of universities that would like to talk to the doctor here, feel free to give her a call. She's
Yeah.
available full time at your campus. Instant tenure preferred. She might even
That would be nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
shave a
I'll
little
take
off
that.
the salary for instant tenure. I think in the long run that would be good. All right, so Dark. Wait a minute. Gravitational. What did you say?
Gravitational waves.
Okay, we'll hold on to that for a minute. But there are so many questions. Like this is like seriously like this is so fun because this is way better than reading. Like because when I'm reading this and like I have to read a sentence like 16 times to be like I know those are words and they're technically forming a sentence, but I have no idea what they say. What is it with physicists and cats? My former PI was also a physicist who owns a cat. Just saying.
Yeah, I think everybody loves cats, right? It's
Yeah.
it's it's like the statistical question before, but it's what are the chances that I like cats, and what are the chances that I'm a physicist who like cats? Right? It just happens that a lot of people like cats, and a lot of
It would be
physicists
the
are
same,
people.
wouldn't it? What are the chances you like cats versus what are the chances a physicist likes cats? Would it be the same?
Oh, no, if you ask the question, like, imagine you don't know anything about me, and you ask the
Uh-huh.
question, like, is it more likely that so you might know a few things, like, okay, I like puzzles, I like learning new things.
Wear
And then
black.
I asked you, I like wearing black. And then I asked the question of, is it more likely that I like cats or that I'm a physicist who likes cats?
Oh,
And,
well,
and
yeah, it's definitely more
yeah,
likely that you like cats.
so this is actually what Abyss was talking about in his first broadcast today, was how we
Right.
go about interpreting these different statistics and information and how it changes our view. So really check out Abyss's broadcast if you didn't today. It was
I
brilliant.
did I did start it and then I had to do something else and I've been trying to nap all the time, but I'm going to listen again. And I was so thrilled that they finally were able to get the AI that is Abyss to speak.
Yes,
Next thing they'll be able to make a digital representation of him. It's awesome, Abyss. I love you. I'm just teasing you. And yeah, I was so excited to see you on the channel today. Just thrilled. It really is really cool. And welcome, you know, to the broadcasting at HAPS.
yeah, it was great to have you. Abyss, I actually messaged some people who did all of the TTK broadcasts, like, hey, you guys remember Abyss? He was always in our comments. He's broadcasting today, and they all wrote back like, yeah, I remember. He always asked all those cool questions. So you're well known in the science broadcasting community.
Yeah, um, that's awesome. So, um, all right, I want to touch on this thing about gravity for a minute because you brought that in there, and then
Sure.
dark matter you said can increase gravitational forces. Is
Yes.
there anything else that can increase gravitational force other
Anything with
than
mass.
a mass? Right. But so because I really am a noob on all this stuff. So this vape pen has mass,
Yes.
and so does gravity doesn't pull it to the ground any faster, right? It's right.
No, but it's pulled to the ground because of the mass of planet Earth.
Right.
Right?
So
If
if
you
I
drop
were
a
on
pen
a
in
mass
space,
of
it does.
somewhere else, it could be faster, right? If I were on a
Yeah.
like on Jupiter, it'd like go boom really fast, maybe.
And well, you can actually stand on the surface of Jupiter because it's just a
Sure.
gas. But yeah,
Right.
if you Jupiter is, I think, a million times more massive. No, yeah, a million times more massive than Earth.
I bet Abyss would know.
Yeah, it's either 10 to the 3 or 10 to the 6. I wrote it down the other day,
Oh
but my
God.
notebook is in the other room. Anyway, it would definitely be different. There's a calculation in it which is basically force is mass times acceleration. So
Uh huh.
acceleration is going to give you how quickly it's falling, and the mass plays a role here. Both the mass of the planet that's causing the gravitational force and the mass of the object falling towards the planet. It's like if you go on the moon has, I think, 10% the gravity of on Earth. So things on the moon behave very differently. You jump and you don't fall down as quickly. You have that kind of slowed down effect. So that's because the moon is creating less gravitational force than planet Earth.
Okay, so you can tell when a gas giant is there if you can you how do you measure gravity? Like, could it?
So I think
Yeah.
one way to think about this is going back to Einstein's general relativity, which is a really nice model. I see you just changed the name of the podcast there.
Yes.
So so one key principle behind general relativity is that it relates space-time to the objects within space-time. There's a very simple way of putting it that summarizes a lot of general relativity, which is objects with mass tell space-time how to bend, and space-time tells objects how to move. So if you imagine you have a sheet, and this is like a bed sheet, and you put a ball in the middle, you're going to create this downward effect. Right? So imagine you've got four people, everyone holding the corner of a bed sheet, and you put a ball in the middle, it's going to go down. And then you put a small ball at the end of the bed sheet, it's going to fall down to where the big ball is.
Right.
And this is what happens with space-time as well. Now it's harder to imagine because it's like one more dimension. But an object with mass, such as the sun, creates a huge gravitational well. So this means that it pulls space-time downward. So you have
in every direction, though, right? It's completely
all the way around it. Yes.
Yes. Because there's no up or down.
Exactly.
Like people in Australia, like they're ticked off that when we put them on the map and they're like at the bottom, they're like, no, we're at the top of the map. But anyway,
why not? So yeah, you can more or less imagine it in two dimensions. So you have this kind of well and the object with mass here, so it goes down. Like if my face is the planet, it's creating this curvature in space-time. I just realized that's the easiest way to show it.
That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
So then objects moving around will feel this curvature or this bending of space-time and will then change the way they move because of this. This is
they're pulled by the gravity into the well?
Not necessarily into the well. They can also follow static paths around the well. This is how planets stay in orbit.
I got it. So yeah, right. It would have to be able to, you'd have to be able to have a static path around the sun, or eventually, right, we'd be pulled into the sun.
Yeah.
And my understanding, actually, that must be pretty darn static, because we would predict that the Earth will be swallowed by the sun way before it would ever drift into the sun, right?
Yeah, we won't drift into the sun. We're in an orbit.
It would never?
No, unless something disrupted our path, like a huge asteroid collision that would set us slightly off course, which is not likely, but it could happen.
Right, but could happen. Right.
Could happen. And obviously, or not obviously, but in 4.5 billion years, the sun is going to die and it's going to grow a lot. And then we'll kind of be sucked into the sun just because the sun is going to get a lot bigger. It's going to eat us up.
Right.
That's
okay.
fun.
Sorry, this is so fun. We could probably do this for 72 hours, and I wouldn't want to stop.
So just coming back to one of your questions before, you asked, how do we measure gravity? So in this case, if you think of the sun and the planets around it, imagine you couldn't see the sun, but you can still see the planets moving around something. Because what you're measuring here is a gravitational effect. So you're not measuring directly the bending of space-time. You're seeing this is moving around something. So there is something here causing this gravitational force. This is what can normally be a star or a galaxy or dark matter.
Okay, so I just have to clear my brain once in a while, of the detritus.
No worries.
Yeah, no, because it is really fun, because there's so many directions you can go in, and I'm going to ask you, so I have one of these brains that doesn't shut off, at all. The only way I can shut it down is at night. I'll listen to a podcast that is not interesting, and I'll concentrate on it really hard, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is so boring," and I'll fall asleep. But I generally can't turn my brain off. So, and I think that's certain people do have a switch to turn it off. But does your brain stay on all the time, or can you turn it off?
Oh, my brain, unfortunately, I have what we call like the 3 o'clock in the morning brain where I switch to panic thinking about everything. And
Really?
I don't give the impression in the broadcast, but I am usually rather anxious.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I can overthink everything. So it's like I might wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and have a completely crazy thought.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's difficult to turn down.
Well, Deanna.
But I'm not up at night thinking about physics most of the time
Okay.
unless I have a problem to solve.
Right. But yeah, and we don't have to go into the other things, but I would say that relative to my brain, and just in terms of, I mean, I know my brain is probably just as capable as your brain of knowing what you know. You know what I mean? But I mean, there's certainly, wow. Okay. Gosh, can we just hang out all the time? Like, let's just call this the Deanna and Revolution Network here. Because this makes me think about so many things. But I do want to talk about this. It's a little off physics in particular, but so not to be bragging, actually, I have a learning disability in written language and math, and it makes it very difficult. Like I can't even do simple addition and subtraction. I have problems with rules of grammar, language, but I'm very verbal, obviously. But I have like a 142 IQ, so it's technically kind of a genius IQ. But there's something in your brain that you know it's different somehow, and we don't have to necessarily explore that. That'd be a fun question to explore, but like when your brain doesn't stop, it just to me would be like like a locomotive versus somebody on a little tricycle. My brain's the guy on the tricycle, and your brain's the one on the locomotive with these
No,
big thoughts.
I actually I disagree with that. I don't think that people are born with ability to become a physicist or not.
Hmm.
I I think it's partly upbringing and partly environmental conditions, and obviously there's
Hmm.
a lot of things. And as you mentioned, you have a learning disability, which of course makes it a lot harder for you.
Right.
But I don't think my brain is processing faster or thinking more. It's
Okay. Well,
just
no, that makes sense. Yeah.
some things that I'm good at. But for an example, if you ask me to draw a picture, I can draw a potato and probably that's it. Whereas a lot of
Hmm.
people are much better at drawing things. Like you take Bobby for an example, she can draw amazingly. And if I try to draw, I cannot do that. So some people's brains are just good at different things. And
Hmm.
this very much depends on your upbringing, on what you're exposed to as a kid. There's always a debate of is it nature versus
Right.
nurture? And we're all a product of both. Of course, this is a conversation that we should be having with Ian, our local
Oh yeah.
neuroscientist.
Like yeah. We should just have the uh, Deanna and Ian hang out, and then like Revolution like says, "Hey, can I come too?" Yeah, that would be awesome.
But yeah, I think everybody's brains are just good at different things. And
Hmm.
I'm good at physics, but that doesn't mean I'm better at other things. A lot of people have much better social skills or networking skills. I mean, you're presenting a lot of things, hosting all of these people, networking. This is something I would be able to do as well as you. So if we compare it in that aspect, I'm the one on the bicycle and you're the one on the locomotive, right? I don't think it's good to have this idea that scientists are these weird geniuses because that
Right.
creates this bridge of us and them. I
Hmm.
think
And
at
there's
the
already a lot of
end,
us and them.
exactly, and we don't need this. And scientists are people. A lot of scientists might be a bit arrogant or have a bit of hubris, but at the end of the day, we are all just people that
Hmm.
are good at different things. That doesn't mean our brains are better or faster. It just means our brains are good at physics. So when I can't shut my brain off about physics, I'll be thinking about physics a lot. But there's probably other things you can't shut your brain off about that I don't even
Right.
think about. So I don't think it's about having a different brain. It's just really about what we're good at doing and what we're not good at doing. I don't see it as I'm smarter than other people. It's just I'm very
Hmm.
good at physics, but
Right.
there's other things
Right.
I'm not good at.
Well, I think those are really good points because I have I've met people in my life that are absolutely brilliant within whatever their field is, right? I mean, they're just crazy brilliant. And then and that's not even a nice word, they're just brilliant. But then yeah, in other things, obviously it can be, very difficult even sometimes to do things. So that um and we'll get back to gravity in a second, but um do you think like the structure of education? So when I look at education in the West being this kind of agrarian based system that was kind of designed, in America anyway, 150 years ago, the way people lived and that kind of stuff, like, is something that we need to do? Is there something we need to do to teach differently and to make the sciences more accessible for people? Um, this is a pretty structured system we have for you to become like a PhD. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I think our education system in general, so I'm going to talk about the one I know, which is in Europe.
yeah,
I can't talk to the US one. But in
sure,
general, in a lot of schools, there's a very clear structure and it doesn't cater to people who learn in different ways. It's like
right,
in high school, for example, we take subjects, we learn stuff, and then we sit exams. And here's the thing, I'm really bad at taking exams. I get really anxious. And if you look at my academic grades based on exams, they're very different to the grades I achieve in doing coursework or doing projects. Because I sit down in front of an exam and my brain freezes. So, people learn in different ways. Some people are very visual, some people need different techniques. And there's often this approach of one size fits all towards education. And I don't think this is a productive approach because I think this lets a lot of people slip through the gaps. And a lot of people who could be amazing scientists, for an example, are tested purely like, can you sit down, take this exam, memorize some things? And
right.
maybe they can't do that, but they would still be good scientists. And this is true for every discipline. And I think in the current education system, there are gaps that students can slip down. It's part of a problem also of funding. You have one teacher, maybe 25 kids. You can't customize the learning to every single student.
Right.
But I do think that a one size fits all approach to education is probably not the correct way of going. Of course, this is not something I've researched extensively. I worked as a teacher
Right.
for a few years, but it's not something that is my topic, right? So this is, don't like say this
Yeah,
is,
a totally different field. But that brings
yeah.
up a really good point, and then we can switch back to gravity. But um, so I think it was. I don't want to say it. I don't want to do it wrong. Let me Google something real quick. Oh wait, I'm getting used to my new mouse and everything here. So wait
So
a
whilst
minute.
you're looking at that, I just want to briefly comment on a comment Paul just made in
Oh
the
sure.
comments, which is that for the sake of science, we should end up with different scientists who think in different ways. And this is absolutely true. And a lot of scientists currently are old white men. Right? This is the way the system is set up. And people with similar cultural experiences might bring similar ideas to the table. I think every single field, every single aspect of life improves with more experiences, with more diversity, and with more people at the table to have their say. Um, you know, just one example here, the way we approach science and mathematics in Western cultures is very different to how it's approached in other areas of the world. And this does not mean that our approach is better, but the Western approach to science and physics in general and to mathematics is currently the default to become a scientist, right? And especially in the Western world, we kind of look down on people who have a different approach or a different path towards science. And I don't think this helps us. So I completely agree with Paul's comment here that for the sake of science and for everybody's sakes, we need scientists from different backgrounds with different ways of thinking and different approaches in general to how we do science.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
kind of
very much going off on a tangent here. I just
no, a
liked
beautiful
Paul's comment
tangent
and
indeed,
wanted
and I
to
appreciate
pull
that
that up.
comment down there too because there's definitely. Hey Kim, what is up? In my opinion, the mind must work a certain way to be good at mathematics and sciences. My daughter also excels in music along with science and math. So, yeah, um, you can answer that if you want. And then I'm going to go to Linus Pauling. And then I promise those of you that are here for, physics, because you should be, um, we'll jump back to gravity a little bit. But what do you think, Deanna, about what she said?
Yeah, I mean, curiously, I actually know a lot of physicists who are also very good at music. Now, me personally, I love listening to music, but I have zero musical talent. Like, my only talent is singing badly at karaoke, and I'm not even sure if that counts as a real talent. Right, so I love listening to music, but I have no musical talent. But there are a lot of from what this is from a conversation I had with a friend who is a musician and a physicist. His idea was that music is based on patterns, on finding similarities or finding things that fit together, which is very similar to what we do in science. So for him, music and science were two aspects that were intrinsically connected. Now, personally, I don't have that view of music just because it's not something that I excel at in any way. But I know there are a lot of people who are very good at science and at music as well. I'm not sure why, but I think partly it's looking for these patterns, these structures. But yeah, there are a lot of people I know who like both music and science, and who are good at both music and science.
That's for sure. There's a few people like that are like world class physicists, world class like violinists, and they're a doctor too or something. You know what I mean? Like there's some
Yeah,
people that do
like
some.
Dr. Brian May, astrophysicist and guitarist of Queen. You know, you can't get more cool than that.
And he was the guitarist first.
He was he put his PhD on hold to be the guitarist, and then went and finished it at some point.
It's pretty cool. Abyss says, Deanna, I have a question for you. How do you detach scientists with skewed personal and societal beliefs, like how Walter Lewin, for example, who was a praised MIT physics professor and let go of tenure for making sexual advances towards his students? Question, Abyss, how long ago was that? But go ahead,
Not too
Deanna.
long.
Not too
Yeah,
long? Okay.
this is a loaded question, right? There's a lot we could unpick here. Um, Scientists themselves should not get a free pass regardless of their contributions to science. Like, being a good scientist does not mean you're a good person.
Right.
We've seen by now that there are bad people in every walk of life, and science is no different. And I think one thing we very much need to do in science is move away from the idea of a lone genius. Like, oh, one person who invented. Everybody in science is a product of other people who have helped, of networks, of communities. And this idea of a lone genius leads to the thought that people are irreplaceable. Like, oh, he's brilliant at his field, he's irreplaceable. You know, we can
Mhm.
overlook what he's done, his misdeeds, because he's such a great scientist.
Which
This
has
is completely
happened a
wrong.
lot
A
in
lot,
this
a
world.
lot.
Yes,
It is a big issue.
it is.
Abyss mentioned one. I have at least 50 names coming to mind that would fill this
Mhm.
definition as well. Right. And once we reach the idea that these people are the geniuses, therefore we can ignore their quirks, this is a bad idea. This is a bad approach. And I think dispelling this myth of the lone genius helps here, because then we see that people are not just a person you cannot touch, but they're part of a team. And if they cannot be a team player, then they don't belong on the team.
Mhm.
This is a very loaded topic, and I think we could spend a lot of time
Well,
talking about this. But
and we could maybe sometime too, but just explain to me because all that makes 100% sense to me. Game over, move on. There's nothing more to talk about here. So give me a little bit of, or give folks out there a little bit of how this question is a loaded question from your
so
perspective.
it is an ongoing controversial topic, right? Because a lot of people, when they're accused, will now throw around the idea of, oh, this is cancel culture. You know, people
Mhm.
are just trying to bring me down.
Thanks,
And then
Abyss.
there's also people with the comments of, oh, but I contributed so much to my field. The problem is we have to ask the question of who pays these people.
Mhm.
What what's a worthy thing of keeping on? And if a scientist is bringing in a lot of grants and writing a lot of publications and signing a lot of book deals, they're very visible and very good for the university.
Right.
Universities sometimes don't want certain things to come out, so certain things are kind of brushed aside. Like, you know, yeah, he's a great scientist. Let's ignore everything else, which is not good. And I say it's a loaded topic because it's something that I have a lot of strong opinions on as a woman in science, as somebody who knows colleagues who have been in difficult situations like this.
Hmm.
And, you know, it's something that we could speak about a lot, and it's something that really, really needs to change in academia, because people in the ivory tower are not untouchable, and people should be held
Hmm. And
accountable for
shouldn't
their
be.
actions.
Right.
Absolutely.
And and we'll we'll move off the topic, but definitely anytime anybody wants to address it, I'm for it. We could do a whole show about it, whatever you want to do. We can have guests. I'd love to have somebody defend this. Yeah, like really, seriously, bring it on.
Unfortunately, I
But
know people who would defend the
yeah, no,
people.
yeah, I know you would. And so also know that how that even the speaking out against it for a scientist, could be a bad thing for their career, even.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I'm not free to say everything I would like to say on this topic.
And we talked about that earlier today, you and I, about decisions we have to make around things like that. You know what I mean? To be able to still do what we want to do. And I'm running into those things all the time, more and more, and it's very frustrating. But yeah, this kind of issue is really very new um, for white men. Like being checked, like you heard that nervous laugh that I have there, right? I mean, I was brought up as a white male and basically told, "You're the top dog. Nobody comes close to you." And there may be some other top dogs that look like you, but you're still at the top. And really difficult for these folks that are really elite. But I mean, I think I gotta say that I've had enough experience in my life that when you have a bit of power, it is a really tempting thing. And in the university situation, like you said, this idea of a lone kind of genius and scientist, that can give somebody a lot of power. It could also turn people off to science and everything. So, yeah, wow. Okay, that's a dialogue for anybody.
Yeah, this is
Um,
so a couple of weeks ago I did a broadcast with a very good friend of mine and colleague, Sania Hiba, and this was for International Women and Girls in Science Day. We spoke about some of the issues women face in science. One thing we discussed a lot is microaggressions, on how these actually do build up. And it's something that, as you said, white men don't necessarily notice, don't necessarily do intentionally. It's just
mhm.
something they've done their whole lives. And when it's pointed out, it can feel very much like we're attacking you by pointing it out. And this is part of the problem, and this is something we did discuss a bit more on different ways to approach this and what men can do to be good allies for women in science. So this broadcast was a couple of weeks ago, 8th of February, I believe. It's still on my profile, so you can listen to more of what we said there as well.
Very good. Well, yeah. Um, anything that you can safely do, which really makes me mad that I have to say that. Um, yeah, want to do this conversation with a bunch of people or something, you know what I mean? So it can kind of level it out. I'm here for it. I'm a good facilitator and moderator of, dialogue. So, and this is just something that people need to be talking about all the time because it's just not acceptable. So we'll reset the room, as they say on Periscope, and I mean on Clubhouse, and breathe for a second. There's currently a popular "Not All Men." Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a problem, right? We say something, and men will say, it's not all of us. Like, okay, maybe
Um.
instead of spending the energy saying it's not all of us, spend that energy
Mhm.
calling out the bad ones.
Thank you, Dr. Hooper, because I got to grab my coat and then I'm going to make a point. Hang on.
Yeah, so there's a case, in case people don't know, there was a woman in the UK who was walking home and she got murdered by a police officer. Now it's raising the question again of whether women can feel safe walking home alone and what women need to consider in these circumstances. And of course, there were the usual comments of, oh, maybe she shouldn't have been walking home alone. Right? And this triggered the conversation of how most women will feel unsafe walking home alone at night in a city. If we see a man walking behind us, we know not all men, and not all men are the guys walking behind us to attack us, but we don't know if that specific man is one of the good men or not. So
Right.
we have to assume not all men because we don't know which men. This is something that is a big conversation on Twitter now, and a lot of men have started with the hashtag of not all men. Yeah, it's always annoying that they spend more energy kind of saying, I'm one of the good ones. And that's a lot of
Mhm.
energy that could also be spent calling out the bad ones.
I got to say, maybe you're one of the neutral ones, maybe, because the good ones are effing doing something about it. So, and this is one of the things that actually is kind of interesting in a lot of the work that the nonprofit that I'm a part of does around race and equity and everything is this idea of an ally is a neat concept, but when you're the oppressor, when you're the problem, allyship doesn't necessarily even line up. I mean, I would argue that you can't be an ally if you're the problem, but what you can be is a co-conspirator. You can work to take the system down. So if you're a white man and you're going to tell me that not me, no, it's not you until you prove that it's not you or you've amended your behavior and set out there, to make a difference and make a stand. And a lot of that really comes down to respecting women, listening to women, let women tell you what they feel like instead of you telling them what they should feel like. It's about active listening. It's about growing up as a society, as a species, as a culture, and moving beyond evolutionary forces that turn men into raging, bulky assholes sometimes. And we have to move past that. So yeah, because I'm like really angry right now because this is my friend and I can tell that it's even bothering you talking about it. You know what I mean? Like it just, yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean,
but
it's a topic that I am very passionate about, and it's a topic I
mhm,
could happily talk a long amount of time about, but probably not on a day where it's so late in the evening and I'm running on so
yes,
little sleep.
yes. And I should, leave whenever you want to. So we'll jump back into some gravity. Ooh, I like that. Jump
Jump
back into
into
some
gravity
gravity.
wells. But
Yes.
anytime
Um,
you jump into a gravity well.
so I, do I leave the gravity well when I'm in the air?
Very, very briefly. I mean, when you jump,
Okay.
you're basically trying to fight against the gravity of the
The
Earth, but
gravity.
the Earth is going to pull you back. When we launch
Okay.
a
So
spaceship, it beats Earth's gravitational pull.
you'd have to launch me at like 17,000 miles an hour to get me out of the Earth's
Yeah,
orbit.
I
Okay.
think
Right.
it's something like 12 meters a second. No, that sounds wrong.
Uh-huh.
I know it was an exercise to calculate in my undergrad. It's like find which speed you need to launch a human to get them to go into orbit.
I like your hashtag, Eleanor. Still too many bad ones. You should counter that. Um, okay, gravity and dark matter and dark energy and this
And
idea
gravitational waves.
and gravitational waves and this idea that, because I think this is what science can be obviously very difficult to understand for, somebody that's not trained in the sciences. Um, and misconceptions about things too can make it doubly difficult. So all these things, like I had just scrambles. The tiniest particles now are uh, the the muons, the bosons, those things, right?
Not the bosons themselves. The
Not the
bosons are
bosons.
made up of smaller particles.
So what's the smallest? I know this. Wait, is this your? No, this isn't. This would be particle physics, right?
Yes.
But you probably know what the smallest particle is, I would think.
Smallest in. So, what do you mean by smallest?
Ooh, okay, wow. Okay, there's apparently a rabbit hole right there. Okay. Well, there's a Planck length, right? That's
Yes.
the smallest measurable thing, right?
So we're talking smallest in
Ah,
diameter, not in size, in mass, sorry. It's just whether we're talking about size or about
let's go
mass.
size. Let's go size.
So here's the fun thing that trying to get the size of a particle is when you run into quantum physics, which means everything becomes a bit messy and we can't really measure the radius of a particle. So the smallest building blocks we have are what we call our elementary particles. And here is where you would have quarks and fermions and bosons. Sorry. Yes, quarks, fermions, bosons. Yes, yes. And the quarks and the fermions are what's going to make structure. So, for an example, you take up quarks and down quarks, you put these together and you get a proton. You add an electron, which is a lepton. Sorry, a fermion. Fermion. You add an electron, which is a fermion, and you get yourself an atom. So the basic building blocks are
Or
these elementary particles. The bosons are what tell these particles how to interact. So, for an
ah,
example, the photon is a particle of light. The photon is a boson. This means that it's the particle that carries the electromagnetic force. So the bosons are the ones that really carry these forces around, and then you have the quarks binding together. So yeah, those are the smallest particles that we have in terms of size.
okay. So did you finish your thought?
Yes?
Okay. So then you can throw that out the window with quantum stuff, right? Like just
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. We'll do that one day.
We can do
But
that.
um, so gravity and dark matter, and this idea now that because science can be confusing because you made a statement that I think would confuse a lot of people, which is that it's that dark matter is a fudge factor. You know,
It can be seen as that, yes. Some people
right,
call it a fudge factor.
right. So I don't know. I feel particularly short today. That always bothers me. Um, the so it's a fudge factor, and
You
science
can
is
blame gravitational waves for that, just as a side comment.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Cool. Oh, gravitational waves too, and their discovery, right? Fairly recently. I mean, their confirmation. Um, we have so much to be able to talk about forever and ever and ever. At least 100 trillion years, we could probably have this
Physics
conversation.
is such a fun topic to talk
It is
about.
really neat because it's tied to everything. I mean, literally, it's like everything about physics is there's nothing without physics. Okay, that was weird too. But no, I'm shorter than I was when I was 6 foot one. Wait, no, I was six. Yeah, I was 6 foot when I was 12. I was really tall, and now I am not 6 foot one. I am, you know, fractionally, a little smaller. Like, I mean, I'm not 6 feet tall anymore when you measure me. And I mean, I've been on multiple, scales and stuff. And, I've shrunk. My spine has probably, under the forces of gravity and stuff like that. But I'm getting compressed all the time, right? Or am I getting pulled?
Sorry, say that again.
Am I
Whether you're
getting
getting
am I getting compressed all the
or
time by
pulled by
gravity or
gravity.
pulled?
Bit of both. So
Hmm.
the gravitational force from planet Earth is pulling all parts of you towards it. Now, the further away you are from planet Earth, the less you feel its gravitational pull.
Hmm.
So the tip of your head feels a very, very slightly different amount of gravitational pull than your
Your
feet.
feet.
Now, this is such a small difference. Like you're comparing the size of a human to the size of the planet. It really doesn't make a big difference. But you
Right.
do feel this very slight, tiny difference. And the fun thing is, astronauts that have gone to the International Space Station, where they feel much less gravitational presence, actually come back very slightly taller.
Ah, cool.
So yeah, if you want to get taller, go to space.
Go to space. Yeah. Wow. So, um, again, just wrapping my head around this concept of 95% of the universe is unknown to us.
Yeah, it's
And
kind of fun, right? Because I say my job is to study the universe, and I follow up with, and there's 95% that we don't know. It's like, well, I'm not very good at my job, am I?
right. And, apparently not a lot of work, right? Because 95% of it, you don't even have to concentrate on. It's like, what do I have to do today? 95% of it's done. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll
Unfortunately, it's
work
like
on it tomorrow.
95% of it is unknown. So yeah.
So, and then actually, of that 5%, what do we actually know?
That is a good question. We think we know quite a few things. So we know how particles interact. We know how they can come together. What is and isn't allowed. All of this is covered by a standard model. This is the building blocks, and then you can take it gradually bigger. Right? We know how atoms behave. We know how planets behave. We know how people behave. We know how stars behave. We think. Then the bigger you go, the
Until we
messier.
don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So there's actually one common problem that we have here. For an example, when we're looking for dark matter, when we look at the way galaxies behave in our local universe is different to what we expect. So we can run simulations, computer simulations. We put in all of our knowledge about physics. We say, show me what's going to happen, and it will output what the universe should look like at different places, at different sizes. We can do this for the way galaxies behave around us. And then we look, and there's a very slight difference. Like galaxy shapes are slightly different to what we expected. The amount of galaxies of one shape is slightly different to what we expected. Now, we can explain this if we change some properties of dark matter. But there's also approaches to explain this, changing some things about baryonic physics. So maybe there's something we forgot to account for or didn't know to account for in baryonic physics, which is the stuff we can see and the stuff we can play with.
So
And there already are things we're missing here.
So you're trying to, for our purposes, calculate an answer, all right, or calculate something to get an answer. But even in the 5% that is the known universe that can be seen, we might only know, let's be generous, 10% of whatever that is about.
Yeah, I would say a lot more, because we do know how these behave in general. We do have a very good understanding because we can actually observe.
So you're talking basic physics like of the universe. We have a pretty good handle. It couldn't be radically different because...
Exactly. I mean, there are some things we know, like light can't travel, so nothing can travel faster than light in a vacuum. This is something we're pretty clear on. Conservation of energy, this is something we're pretty solid. But then there are some things where you have a bit of room to play. I think of the part that we can see, which is not the part I work on, but of the part we can see, we think we have like 80-90% understanding. We might be wrong. Of the part we can't see, I think one big important thing is that we know that it's 95%, and that's already huge. Like, we don't know a lot about this 95%, but we know that it's 95% and not some other number, and that's already a big thing to know.
Sure. All right, so this is just really, I don't know if people would believe me or not, but like this is like winning the brain lotto. You know what I mean? Like, this is just like, winning the absolute. You cannot have more fun than talking physics, especially if you're doing it with Dr. Hooper.
I'm always up for physics conversations. I won't be able to keep up for much longer, though. It is.
That's okay. Late. Yeah. No, when you need to go, yes, please. Though I don't want to be the reason that you're tired tomorrow. Okay.
Don't worry. Tomorrow's Sunday. I can sleep in.
Okay. Good. Something. Okay. So it seems to me in some of my. Oh, and by the way, I want to recommend everybody this podcast. I'm going to put it in here. Actually, let me find their. Hold on a second. Because these guys, they have amazing guests, and I talk about them all the time. And because I've been able to interview a couple of skeptics recently, I'm really going to work on interviewing these guys from the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. And these, have you heard of these guys, Deanna?
Yes, I have indeed.
Yeah, they're awesome. And I don't even know what. Oh, yeah. So I know I heard it on their program, but if anybody's watching this and you want to DM me or something to let me know when, that would be great. But there seems to me in my head in the last few months, there was some reference. I know this is going to be so detailed. There is some reference to something maybe in the early universe moving faster than light.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, was there more you wanted to add, or was that it?
No, that's it. I'm done. My noodle is fried.
We always say nothing in the universe can move faster than light in a vacuum. And this is kind of one of our principles. This is something we can pull out of our equations. It's something we like. It sets a kind of an absolute limit. It brings together electricity and magnetism. It's nice. But this is always for objects within space-time, objects that are part of objects that can move around in space-time. Nothing can travel through space-time faster than light in a vacuum. And then we go to the very early universe, where the universe was expanding, and this expansion was accelerating. There was this period where the universe went from being a very small, very hot, very dense thing to being very, very big. And this is a period that we call inflation. During inflation, the universe is growing exponentially. I think in the last year, everybody's become a bit more familiar with exponential growth with the whole COVID situation. It just means that every day it's kind of growing more at an exponential rate, right? Mm-hmm. So the universe was growing exponentially. So points in the universe were moving away from every other point at an exponentially growing rate. And if you break it down and then you think how much the universe grew and the fact that this process lasted a fraction of a second, then you have to ask the question of, was this expansion of the universe faster than light? And it was. The universe was expanding faster than the speed of light. And the reason that this is not a violation of our principles is that we're talking here about space-time itself.
Wait. Oh, yeah. So, to me, when I think about it then, because you were just going to go into space-time, but like, there was no universe. There wasn't a universe yet, right? Space-time wasn't fully formed yet. So it can, in essence, in my mind, violate that because, does that make sense? Am I making any sense? Or
it does sort of make sense, but at the time of inflation, you could already have a few things happening inside the universe, like the thing driving inflation, something triggered inflation. So you could still have things happening. But the speed of light is always a limit for objects traveling in space-time. But here we're talking about space-time itself expanding. So it's perfectly possible, and to what we know, in the early universe, the universe was expanding faster than the speed of light. And here's the even nicer thing about this. There are patches of the universe today that could also be expanding faster than light.
Really? Still today?
Not still, but again.
Oh, in the past. Wait.
No, so in the past because of inflation and today because of dark energy.
Oh, wow. Okay. There's a whole other conversation. There's like 9,000 conversations we could have today in every direction.
Yeah, we keep grabbing fun ideas.
It is really fun to do this in a free-form way because I've had like 3 ideas go in and out of my head in like the last 3 seconds. It's like getting attacked by particles into my thumb.
This is what I do on my broadcast, right? That I just take questions from people in the audience and jump about. But now I'm focusing purely on all of your questions.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. Okay, so gravity. Okay, wait. So the Big Bang, inflation, the nothingness, which nothingness would have to have some quality of somethingness to be something, right? I know that what happened before the Big Bang is kind of like
not covered by science.
Yeah, because it's like there wasn't anything there. Like you can't, right? Can't consider. It's like it was non-existence, like before the Big Bang.
Hey, Issa, nice to see you as always. Issa's in.
Issa, hi.
So the thing is, we actually really cannot say what was before the Big Bang because our equations don't go so far back. We have no evidence. We have nothing that can give us any information from that point. Mm-hmm. So you say, was there nothing? Was it before space-time? We don't know. It's before we can make any scientific claims. So we take this initial singularity where our equations break down, and then we move forward to a point where they don't break down and move forward with it. But anything that came before, if there was anything, is not something that we can answer with theoretical physics.
I just like how you just casually, and he said, you don't have to come up, but I invite everybody, and please do not feel obligated to come up by any way, but you're always welcome. Both of you are always welcome on my show anytime, doesn't matter. Come up. But you just so cavalierly said, if there even was something like, if there even, let's roll the tape back. But if there even was something
Yeah, whatever came before, if anything did come before, yes.
like I understand that I am stardust. I understand that I am 13 point, what is it, 84?
82.
82. 13.82 billion years old if you think of that every bit of me had to exist at the moment of existence, right? I mean, there's
Not
nothing
completely.
new been. Have there been new things? Do stars make new things, or are they just spitting out something that was there in a different way?
So there were different phases of the universe. Like in the very, very early universe, when inflation was happening, there weren't the particles that make up the universe today. Then at some point, there was what we call baryogenesis, which just means the genesis of baryon, so the genesis of particles. Now, we're not completely sure how this happened. There's a lot of study into this, and
Mhm.
this is way outside of my area now. But at some point, these particles came to be in the universe. And at first, it was what we call a quark gluon plasma, which means all particles were kind of in a hot soup. And they were not really something you could distinguish and pull it out like, look, I have a muon, or look, I have a quark. There was just this kind of soup. Then, as the universe gradually cooled down, there were different transitions, and at each transition, the universe changes its structure slightly. Then, at some point, we have the particles that make up everything that we see today. But then these particles bound together to form hydrogen and helium, which gave birth to the first stars, or hydrogen and then helium. But like iron is formed when you break it down, it's formed of the same elements, but it's not something that existed 3 minutes after the Big Bang. It's something that was produced in the first stars.
So, oh man, really? I just want to like, I, I just want to like take drugs and never sleep. I don't mean like, I just mean to stay awake. Okay. Just, yeah. Okay. So wait. So then so how long between the beginningness, this,
The Big Bang,
because it's
yes.
not even really the Big Bang, right? But I mean, whatever it was, because I'm learning is before the first star lights up,
I know it
like 3
in
billion years or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I know it in a number that is unhelpful, so I'm just trying to think of it in a number that is. I know it in redshift, which is just how we talk about stuff in the universe, and I'm just trying to
Hmm.
think about it in an actual usable number. So let's just go through this a sec. 380,000 years after the Big Bang, photons break away. I'd say about a million years after the Big Bang is when the first stars began to form, but there's a bit of uncertainty here.
A million years. That to
Um,
me, in that
400
universe,
million,
that's
yeah. Abyss just says 400 million years. That is
okay. Even
correct.
400 million years in an existence that's that long, and 13.82. That's pretty fast, I would think, for stars to
Yeah,
form.
I mean, it's pretty fast, but most of the cool stuff that set the universe on course to look the way it does today happened in the first 3 minutes.
Holy
There's
crap.
actually
Really?
a famous book by Steven Weinberg called The First 3 Minutes. And you can
Well,
really
what do
write
you
books on
by
those three
like
minutes.
everything we recognize today, like the fundamental underpinnings of the structures? Is that what you
Yes.
mean?
Yes. So when we look at building blocks, we go back to the standard model of particle physics. We have these quarks, we have the fermions, we have the bosons. All of these were kind of the way these interact, the way these behave, and even the amounts of these in overall terms were set in the first 3 minutes. The first elements in the universe, hydrogen, and so in the first 3 minutes, you could already have the first elements beginning to form. So kind of and dark matter within the first 3 minutes, dark matter was there. So within the first 3 minutes, pretty much the building blocks of the universe were formed. And then there's a big phase where not much happens. You kind of fast forward a bit. It's like, yeah, particles are interacting, they're doing their stuff, and then suddenly we get to like, a couple of 100,000 years after the Big Bang, and then stuff starts getting more interesting again. But in the first 3 minutes, you need like 10 books to get through it, and then there's a big gap where not much happens.
Skip that part.
Yeah, yeah, it's like fast forward now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So wait a minute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so everything coming together. Okay, so let's circle back because that was really fun. Did the, the hmm, so my kind of loose understanding is that in this quadrant of the universe or the galaxy here, there was I think we talked about this the other day. Our star was formed. We don't have to say how all that happened, but our star was formed. And everything in this solar system basically came out of that star formation or a supernova or something before that formed our sun. Like, how did our sun form? Because that's way after the beginning of the universe, obviously.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the universe, you form these basic elements, and then these basic elements are basically set off to play in the universe with a certain rule book, which is our standard model of practical physics. So
Which
then
wait, did they not have a rule book before?
they had a
Like,
different rule book that we're still
cool.
not
Oh, so
that we're
cool.
still
Okay,
not
keep going.
understanding. But yeah, once we give them the standard model of practical physics, like okay, go follow this, gravity, we start putting that in there. Then these particles will start interacting, they'll start doing their thing in the universe. Dark matter will feel the gravitational force, so it will start coming together. Protons and electrons, or protons will form, electrons will start coming together, particles of light will move out. So you have a lot of these things happening, which we can describe based on this rule book that we have. Then at some point you have some protons. You can put these together, you get helium and hydrogen. And when you put enough hydrogen and helium in one place, you form the first stars. These stars are going to explode and send out hydrogen and helium, which will trigger new stars forming. So our star, I think, it's a generation two star, which means it's not a first population. It's not even generation two. Sorry. So it's a lot of stars in the early universe would form. They would reach the end of their life. They would release all of their hydrogen and helium, and then this would form newer stars. And these newer stars could then burn a bit more and create new elements. So every star then seeds the future generation of stars. So when our sun formed, you have to imagine there was a supernova at some point, and then another place in the universe where a lot of hydrogen and helium starts coming together, maybe from two or three different supernova. These
Mm.
start coming together, and by now you also have small rocky particles in the universe from other planets that have begun to form. So you start forming this star just because you have a lot of hydrogen and helium and gravitational forces pulling it inwards. At some point, you're going to form a star. Once the star is kind of formed, it's going to attract a bit more, grow a bit, and become a fully fledged star. And at this point, the objects around it are also going to start forming into planets because they now feel this gravitational pull. So they're going to start coming into orbits. And once things are on more or less the same orbit, eventually they're going to crash together and build the planets. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Oh no, it makes total sense actually, which is good because that's rare during these conversations. But no, that makes very good sense. But then it just made me wonder. So let's say from a kind of a thought experiment thing, if I had two hoses and one was filled with hydrogen and one was filled with helium, and I went out in the backyard, and I mean, basically, I have an unlimited amount. I can release an unlimited amount at any given time. And if I pointed them, towards Sussex from Chicago, right, and I just started letting them all run together, could we make a star if we could put enough of those things together, or is there some other secret sauce that you need?
High pressure, a lot of pressure, and a lot of
Hmm.
gravitational force. Let me just check that I'm getting this right. Yes, this is something we would love to do to actually
It
be
was
able
poetry.
to reproduce a star would advance our energy incredibly. Having a star on Earth that we could use in a contained way would solve
Oh,
the
you mean
energy
like a
crisis.
tiny star?
Yes. So what you
Ooh,
want
that'd
to
be
do here,
cool.
put hydrogen and helium together. You're
Uh
not going
huh.
to start a star. You need a lot of specific circumstances. And this
Gotcha.
is something that scientists have been working on for years because if we can create our own star on small scales, it means we could harness the
Hmm.
power of the star and it would solve our energy crisis.
Well, okay, now that's interesting. And mind blown because I never even thought about making miniature stars. I'd like one of those. Can I get it in kind of a blue hint to it? And
Yeah.
wouldn't it like? collapse my house because it'd have so much gravity? Like it would be dangerous.
It depends how big you make it, right? If yeah, it depends how big you're going to make
But
your
I
baby
couldn't. It couldn't
star.
be even marble size would be disastrous, wouldn't it?
Not really. It really
No.
depends how much mass and stuff you're putting here.
Hmm.
I mean, if
Well,
it's marble size, it's not going to have a huge gravitational presence on the
okay.
Earth. Well, of
Well, I
course,
just want.
its mass depends. If you condense all of the mass of the sun into a marble, you're going to create a black hole.
I just
But
want. Yep. Oh,
as
right.
Abyss
Well,
just
aren't
points
there
out,
tiny black holes? Okay.
yeah, just to follow on with the comment here of harnessing the power of the sun, this is what would actually be a fusion reactor, a nuclear fusion reactor.
Right.
So when we talk about nuclear reactors, what we're used to is fission, where we
Yeah.
split the atom. And in a fusion one, we try to bind it together so you could actually produce these elements. There's one project which has been, when I started as an undergrad, I was told it was 50 years away, and I'm still told it's 50 years away, which, as Abyss just said, is called the ITER. And this is the project to create the first nuclear fusion reactor on Earth.
Oh, sure. Right. Well, no. So,
Create
all right.
star in our backyard, why not?
Yeah. No, but I mean, we can throw. We could throw small. I mean, everybody's way too afraid of fission. It's not that dangerous if it's handled
If it's done in a
properly.
controlled way, it's
Yeah, if
perfect.
it's done in a controlled way, we can throw tiny little nuclear reactors, bury them in our backyard, and power us forever. But everybody's afraid of that type of energy, so
Yeah,
everybody's
I
chasing
think
this.
within reason, though, right? We have had a huge nuclear disasters,
Oh
which
no,
are
no, I'm not. I'm not saying we would be responsible enough even for corporate America to do it, but those exist. Those small little reactors exist right now, I believe. Maybe not backyard size, but okay, this is interesting because to me it feels like this ITER. You're chasing a dream that you don't need because the sun itself. I don't know what the calculation is, but within between a moment and a few minutes provides more energy when it hits the earth than we would need for probably hundreds if not thousands of years. So
the
just
problem is harnessing
grab
it.
the huh
How do we
harnessing it,
harness it? That's the problem.
concentrating it, right? But I would think it would be easier to focus the energy of the sun than it would be for fusion.
Yeah, it's actually not so easy, unfortunately, because
Mhm.
it's like with solar panels, right? Solar panels are one of our best ways of harnessing the power of the sun. But then we have
Right.
the problem of storing this on it.
Right, the energy itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's something that then becomes very difficult to use. There's
So
actually a lot of fun thoughts of like, what if we could build basically solar panels in a ring around the sun?
oh,
Um,
sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, then we can go into what used to be cool was the Dyson Sphere, and then I think we kind of figured out maybe not, but now they call them Dyson swarms, right?
yes, yeah,
So, and what that is for those of you out there that don't know a lot about this, what I'll say that it is, a Dyson Sphere is basically you would have a civilization capable enough of. I think there was a Star Trek episode, but it wasn't a sun. Maybe it was a planet. But you'd be able to create some kind of, which we have no idea what we'd even probably be made of, maybe, but some kind of containment of a star all around it to get all of the energy extracted from that star, which would be imagine this science experiment you could do with all of the energy of one star. So it's an insanely advanced civilization that could do that. And there's that. And then, but this idea of harnessing the sun's energy versus fusion would solve it. You're right. I get it. Because I was thinking that's kind of silly. Why are you chasing something when the sun's out there? But fusion would just it'd just be there. There'd be unlimited energy, and we wouldn't have to worry about harnessing the power of the sun, and it would change everything. And that's like, I don't even think we could conceptualize how much it would change everything
yeah,
because,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
free
a fusion
energy would be
reactor has been a
crazy.
dream for years for humanity.
But how far away? Now, he just said 50 years. I mean, that's the kind of thing, if you listen to the skeptic guide, they're like, yeah, that's 30 years away. and then it's 20, and then it's 10. Tell me when it's 5 years away, and maybe it'll happen. But the we have been chasing that dream for a long time. Why aren't we hitting the mark?
Because it's ridiculously difficult. I mean, we are trying to create a star. When you think about it, that's
So it
not
is creating a star.
right? It's basically it's a small scale star.
Oh
We
God, yeah,
have
that puts it
to
in perspective.
yeah, we have to have absolute control that it cannot get out of hand, that it's going to be contained, and that everything is going to work the way it should work. It's an incredibly difficult feat, and it's not one that I really dug into. I remember this from my
Sure.
physics classes and from
Right.
reading up about it, but there are a lot of hurdles to overcome. And really, when you think about it, we're trying to create a star. It's just really, really difficult to do. So, Weber's just made some comment here about type A, type 2, type 3 civilizations, and this is how we kind of discuss different civilizations. And I'm just going to do a completely shameless plug here for something that I'm not in any way associated to. I just love it. There's a YouTube channel called Quiz Gazette in a nutshell. They do absolutely amazing science videos where they talk about things like how could we build a Dyson sphere, how could we move the earth, and they have these really pretty animations with it. So yeah, I love this channel.
You just know the channel. You don't know them, do you?
No, I'm in no way associated to them.
No, but here's what I could do. I'll ask you this in public. Feel free to say no. But I could basically say, look, I know this really cool scientist and would love maybe for you guys to come on a program sometime and, talk with us about what you do. I think they'd be fun. So
it would be great. I'm honestly, so this is a really well-known YouTube channel by now. They broadcast in 3 different languages, and I know they have a big team and a lot of work goes into their videos. So I'm not really sure if they're the type of people that would join, but it would be great. I'm a huge fan because I have a hoodie, a calendar, a mug with the logo.
Well, then I'm just going to say I got a big fan that wants to meet you. Come on my show.
That would be fun. I'm always up for that. But yeah, I just wanted to mention because Abyss was talking about type 2, type 3 civilizations, and there was a video recently exactly about this topic, and it's really nice.
Well, quickly, because I know you need to get going. I've kept you here for so long. And I appreciate it so much. And I know you're having fun, so that's cool.
It's always fun. It's always fun to chat to you.
Right. So just quickly though, Abyss, a type 3 civilization would be like the civilization in the Foundation series, right? A galactic civilization. That would be type 3 in the Foundation series, I think.
Yeah, where you can travel freely throughout the galaxy and kind of have a colony throughout your galaxy.
Right. Yeah. Quickly then that, because there's a are you Star Trek or Star Wars?
Both and neither. I like both, but I'm not a fanatic of
a huge fan. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I like both. I was much more a Farscape person.
What would be fun sometime if we could get some people together and we could do a, how they have the physics of Star Trek and the physics of Star Wars? What I would love to do, at least have a bit of a dialogue about the differences of the fictitious theoretical ideas around traveling in the Star Trek universe at some increased speed beyond light and in the Star Wars, because they're different systems, I think.
Yeah, I think you have the warp drive in one and the hyperdrive in the other.
Right. So that would really be fun, I think, sometime to talk about that stuff.
I would have to get out my lecture notes on general relativity, because that was years ago that I taught. We actually covered these topics. It's like an exam question of how would you build a hyperdrive. That's a fun exam.
Nice. Star Wars is a little off from the science than Star Trek. Yeah, that's always been my feeling too. And Star Trek has this weird combination of I love science fiction, but nobody's going to run around on this horse-like thing in a there's no, Star Trek has some physics magic, like teleportation and some things. And then Star Trek kind of feels like, because this is what it is, this is what Lucas was doing. He was making a Western in space. So Star Trek sometimes kind of has this kind of I don't want to say steampunk, but it's not as sophisticated control of like the physics of the universe or whatever.
You
That's
mean
for
Star
another
Wars there,
topic.
right?
But what's that?
You mean Star Wars is more the like space western?
Yeah, Star
Yeah.
Wars. I'm sorry. Star Wars is like the space western.
Yeah.
So that even the physics of both of those universes are kind of different, even though it's got to be our physics, but it's just kind of the way I perceive it. But wow, this was great. Like, holy cow.
Was
Was I
not the
like
plan
the
for the
luckiest?
evening.
Huh?
This was not the plan for the evening, but it was great fun.
Well, again, if you didn't do something you were supposed to, don't blame me.
Oh, I was going to spend the evening with Netflix and just chilling, but
Oh,
I'm
cool.
just like
Well,
catching up with some TV series and relaxing. So
mhm.
I'm happy to do deep conversations about physics instead.
That is so awesome because basically you helped me clean out my brain. You know what I mean? Because I had to like think so hard that all that dust that was in there got knocked around.
Knock out the cobwebs.
Yeah, I knocked out the cobwebs for sure. That is so fun. Yeah, the downside of Star Trek is that it's probably less risky and very beneficial to send robotic emissary to remote planets than sending a crewed spacecraft. Yeah, but again, Abyss, you're not talking about the human element, though. I mean, we don't send people to Mars um, to explore like robots. We send people to Mars to explore like humans that will think of things while they're on Mars that they would never think because a robot sent back a signal. You have to stand on Mars. You have to stand on, these places. And I get it. It's much safer, it's much more cost effective, but what if we just sent probes to California? Um, okay, yeah, what if we just sent probes to California and never moved there? There's no argument to me that you can ever give me that you should not put human beings in space because we're not robots. We're beings that are about the imagination and exploration and anyway, sorry to get on it,
No,
but yeah.
it's definitely good to explore the universe more. And I think one thing we do need to do is we need to have very clear ethical guidelines before we do so, because humans are very bad at knowing how to deal with new places that they find.
True,
And
true.
before we send people to Mars, we really need to have some strong conversations about the ethics and morality of what we're doing.
Well, and not only the ethics and morality, and that even comes into play with the moon, because it's closer, um, is this idea of like even now we've brought stuff to Mars. They could not have had those devices, those vehicles, 100% perfectly sterilized. There's had to have been some kind of hangers on at some point in these 56 Mars missions or whatever we've had. So we've already, right? Am I right? Contaminated the planet in a way.
I mean, there are a lot of checks on these missions already, and there's a lot of security done to
Mhm.
prevent anything happening. And yeah, there are a lot of things we do to work on this. And there's also the thing that when you drop a robot burning through the atmosphere, not much can survive that.
That's true,
But there are some considerations that we need to know.
but I
There are
mean,
more things we need to think about.
couldn't we have dragged a few water bears along on the trip? And
Tardigrades, I think
yeah,
they are very careful with that because tardigrades can survive in space.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
weird creature on planet Earth that can survive in space. It's ridiculous, and it looks like a space bear, or we
I
call it a
love them.
space
I
bear.
love tardigrades. They're like
Tardigrades, they're so
super
fun.
cool. I need a tardigrade T-shirt.
You can actually get a tardigrade in a glass.
Really?
I think so. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
No, did they have a tardigrade in the end? I think I wanted the tardigrade and they didn't have that one. But yeah, I will look to see if I can find that again.
Cool. All right.
But yeah, they are very careful with the missions to Mars because
Mhm.
of the possible consequences. And the thing is, the scientists who work on Mars missions, the last thing they want is to damage anything on Mars or to, discover life on Mars and then realize that actually we brought it along
It
with
was
us.
was us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the scientists involved are very careful about this. We need to have the same considerations when we send people to space and many more considerations.
Right. And Abyss, I want to point out one of my flaws is so when you said the downside of Star Trek is that it's probably less risky and very beneficial. Okay, so what I did was I read in there that, like, oh, yeah, anti-human, right? But then you tell me at the bottom, I was actually talking about unexplored planets, of course, and I'm all for human space exploration. So I apologize if I made it, like I was jumping after you, because I wasn't. I was just jumping after the we don't put people in need to put people in space camp. So yes, but I did not mean to say that to you. Now I will ask you, doctor, because I like the idea of the controls and everything. Do you support humans in space?
Ooh, yes and no.
Oh, cool.
I'm very much for humans going to space.
Hmm.
I think we need to remove the word colonization from our dictionary
Oh,
before we do, and that's
well,
a whole
that's a
other conversation for a whole other evening.
yes. Well, we should do that though. Oh my gosh, hold on a second, because that's really interesting. I'm writing that one down because um, that is not colonization. I like. Okay, so the way that you said it, um, um, from um, okay, before planet shopping. um, okay, well, let's go. How about that?
Yeah,
I'll let you
let's
go
let's leave that for another day, another
another
conversation.
day. Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's a very contentious subject, no question about it. But you're putting a little twist on it that I really like. So I just thank you. Thank you, Abyss.
It was great to chat to you as always, Rev.
Yeah, thank you for coming up, Deanna. And always, yes, as always. And tomorrow at 11:30, I believe Chicago time, 12:30 New York time. That would be what, 9:30 in California. And how far are you off of GMT?
And it's 5:30 my time with the new time
5:30 your
zone
time.
difference. It's 5:30
Um,
Central European time.
please, like, check out her show, Dr. Deanna Hooper, and follow her, subscribe to her, sponsor her, because I know she's going to put that money to good use, further bringing science to all of us. So thank you so much for everything you do, Deanna. And honestly, thank you for being my friend, because I really am enjoying being your friend. It's
This
a
was a
lot of
great
fun.
conversation.
Yeah, it was. All right.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night. Get a good sleep. We'll see you later. All right, everybody. As Dr. Hooper exits the studio. Oh yeah, thank you, Abyss. Yeah, we know you're going to be there. Thank you, Angela. And as Dr. Hooper exits the studio, let me just tell you what you just witnessed was, if you're watching this to the end, or you're still here, what you just witnessed is one of the most absolute magical things that can happen on HAPS. And it I don't know. I guess, could it happen on Twitch? Um, do you bring people up from the audience on Twitch? I don't think so. Do you? Um, could it happen on? Couldn't happen on Periscope because there wasn't video. Though I was playing around with Zoom there towards the end. I don't know that. I can somebody tell me where this conversation that I just had with Deanna could possibly happen in a random, and I mean, granted, we're becoming friends, but okay, but off the top of my head, I guess we could have done it in Periscope with the audio. But point being, maybe it can happen in several places. But you just witnessed some of the magic of this platform, and please um, follow Mark Goldman and David Newman and Drew Shepard on Twitter, and tell them how much you like this platform, because these are the guys that are bringing it to you, plus Pablo and Peter and Brett and um, Lucia, and I think Steve, right? Isn't Steve like the head tech guy, we haven't met yet, but tell him how much you appreciate him, because the magic you just saw here is awesome, because Dr. Hooper popped up into an innocuous little broadcast where I'm looking for, a host for a program I want to start. And then, of course, we changed the title to Dr. Hooper Schools Revolution. And I love that. I want to do that again. I want to have that show again. I want to have it every day, actually. But that's the magic of HAPS, guys, gals, folks, FOLX. Why I'm here, and I hope it's why you're here. So run out as you leave the room. Go find a random broadcast, and if you got a couple of bucks worth of awards, go in there, see if there's something you like. Throw a few awards around. Make somebody's day. Go sponsor somebody. $1 a month, $5 a month, nothing big. Go sponsor somebody. You'll make their freaking weekend. They will love you for it. And yeah, like seriously, you got to tell your friends about what you just saw, which is just how powerful this platform is. And that was magical. That was absolutely magical. And like I said, that's not going to happen on CNN. It's not going to happen on local news. We've had a couple of these dialogues lately that absolutely, positively could not happen outside of the magic of this platform. I mean, I know we can argue a little bit here or there, but certainly very easy to do here. And yeah, I'm just, maybe I sound like silly, but I'm just awestruck about what just happened here, because I just got schooled in the most fun way you can get schooled about science. And I think what I'm going to do is, I've got so much to do, but if there's anybody out here watching this on replay that would like to cut that video up, it really wouldn't take much time to just get rid of what I had going in the beginning and package that up, and then I'll put it back up as its own broadcast. Because I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, I probably just got like, I don't know, $10,000 worth of knowledge there. I don't know what Dr. Hooper would have to charge an hour, but I mean, like, to give us all that information. But I learned things tonight that I literally didn't know, and which is not that hard to do in physics. But I never thought about fusion basically being trying to start a tiny star. Like, that really puts it in perspective how difficult the task has to be. As far as we know, only, and I'm not religious at all, so I don't believe in God, but like, from contextually from, people that believe in God, the only people we know that can start stars have to be gods or, the magic of the universe. But fusion energy would transform everything. One of the little examples I have of being an environmentalist and an environmental activist my whole life is this idea of, if you gave everyone in the world gasoline for free, you just said, you know what, Saudi Arabia, we're doing fine. We have enough money. We're just going to make gasoline free for everybody. It won't cost anything. Wow, awesome. Never have to pay for gas. Forget some of the economic ramifications that might have. It would be absolutely disastrous for humanity. It would be an utter disaster, because now you have an unlimited supply of gasoline, which would mean that everybody would want a car, right? I mean, not everybody, but way more people. Like, think of India, where you've got some, pretty endemic poverty, but free gas, that puts more people on the road. That puts more people in cars. the idea of something happening that we would think could be a benefit that could just absolutely be a disaster because the amount, let's say there was free gas and that started to drive manufacturers of cars into a direction where they were actually able to produce cheaper cars because they want to sell cars to the Indian market and they'd have to be cheap, but because gas is free, um, they're going to design a car that costs $500 equivalent or something. I mean, that would open it up to just millions and millions of people. That would be an environmental disaster. Just the additional plastics we would be producing. First of all, this is the thing. Everybody wants to get rid of fossil fuels. I love the idea. There is, according to Helen, in Scotland, it's not a crap ton. It'd be a crap load of plastic in front of me right now. Like, get rid of all the plastic. No more fossil fuels. So you're going to have to make it out of what? Corn products or something? And I don't even know that you can actually make plastic out of corn without some, base material, that would be coming from fossil fuels. But yeah, like, this is the thing that drives me crazy about getting let's just get rid of fossil fuels. That'll solve everything. No, it won't. Won't even come close. It's great. We want to get rid of fossil fuels. But there's 100 reasons why that should be implemented in a measured way. And I'm all for it. I'm 100% for it, but you just can't jump into some of this stuff. There's cause and effect. And anyway, we'll edit that out because that was just too fun. And I might just try and package that up myself on my first attempt at Adobe Premiere now that I have a computer that can run it. Fossil fuels are really unsustainable. In addition to their detrimental effect to the environment, they have a very limited presence. I'm not sure what you mean by the last half of that sentence there, but I could agree. But yeah, wow, holy cow, the magic of haps. Thank you. Just give into this economy. Buy your coins. You meant that they can run out. Yes, I get you. That's what I kind of thought you meant. And Abyss, hold on a second, buddy. It's so nice to have a computer that works. Oh my gosh. A lot of the problems that I thought we were having with HAPS, it's just my 10-year-old Mac couldn't scroll through page after page of video because it couldn't process it. So, but I thought that was HAPS having a problem. All right, Abyss, you do not have any social media presence there, but I would love to invite you to contact me because I think it would be fun to. I have a rule that, and I'm going to violate this rule for you if you want to, because I think it'd be fun on a weekend like this to have you come up to, and you're on Twitter, okay? And Deanna or whoever else, Ian, whoever else maybe wanted to come around, but you don't have to. Obviously, you don't have to show your face. I don't have a problem with that. There are reasons why people wouldn't show their face. Certainly, if it, most of what I do on here is to promote other people. So, that might come into play, but I'm just saying, I would love to have you come up here now that I've heard your voice, and join in some of these dialogues because, you'd bake my noodle too. And yeah, that was just fun. Now I'm rambling. I got to get back to work. We've got to find new folks. Please, please, please. If you know people that would be fun to have on the big, oh, good. Thank you. The big interview, please let me know. DM me or something on Twitter. Actually, it's better to send me a message on IG if you have it. because I get way too many DMs on Twitter that it's hard for me to pay attention to them. But I'll find you on Twitter, Abyss. Yeah, make this thing work. Yeah, I think it would be very fun, Abyss. Make this thing work, folks. This platform is not going to succeed if we don't make sure we do everything we do to make sure that happens. So, yeah, thanks, everyone. It was about the best 2 hours you can spend. So, thanks, everybody. We will see you soon, probably later today, because I'll probably get on here. But for now, thanks for joining me. It was a blast. Peace be with you, and namaste.